Hello guys, this is Darion's Movies, and today I will be bringing you the lore of the Ashbringer, going through the history and the speculations. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. The origins of the Ashbringer go back all the way to the Second War. During the pivotal battle known as the Assault on Blackrock Spire, the humans fought the Orcish horde. High Lord Alexandros Mograine of the Silver Hand stumbled onto a dark crystal that dropped from an Orcish warlock that fell in battle. Intrigued by its powers, Alexandros tried to take it for himself. Upon touching the object, his hand was scorched to the bone and could not be healed by any light spells. He somehow managed to capture the orb and kept it as a secret for many years. Sometime later, when the Scourge invasion began, he uncovered the artifact and presented it to his fellow followers of the light. He shared his thoughts on how the light cannot exist without the shadow and how they are just the sides of the same coin. The other paladins, repulsed by the presence of this wild object, started attacking it with the powers of the light. Much to everyone's surprise, the dark, sinister orb turned into a manifestation of the light, instantly healing the hand and the soul of Mograine once scorched by the same object. They soon realized that the power of this object is great and that it needs to be contained in a form of a weapon. However, this task could not be taken by any ordinary smith, and thus Alexandros traveled to Ironforge to speak to Magni Bronzebeard himself. Upon arriving, they met a very furious Magni who recently received the news of the death of his brother Muradin from what he presumed the hands of Artus. This was good for them as Magni crafted the Ashbringer with the utmost passion, hoping to revenge his brother's death. After the Great Blade was created, the word reached Ironforge that Tyrannus Manatil has been killed, forcing Mograine to make haste back to his kingdom. Upon arriving, he fought the initial wave of the Scourge, realizing just how effective the blade is against the undead forces. Soon enough, a campaign against the Scourge began, and the first target was Stratholm. While the human resistance fought valiantly, the Lord Commander of the Silver Hand, Seidan Detrahan, was corrupted by a dreadlord named Belnazar. Belnazar, in a pact with Kil'Thuzad, plotted to eliminate Alexandros, the biggest enemy of the Scourge. Through Detrahan, his own son Renaud was corrupted. Renaud led his father to Stratholm again, directly into a Scourge trap where the hordes of undead awaited him. Mograine fought with ferocity, completely obliterating the Scourge with the power of the Ashbringer, but eventually fatigue took over him and he dropped the sword. Renaud used this moment, he took the weapon and murdered his father, thus corrupting the Ashbringer. After his death, Kil'Thuzad had resurrected him and turned him into one of the Death Knights serving Kil'Thuzad in Extremis. Sometime later, seeking to free his father, his youngest son Darion led a mission into the heart of Naxxramas itself. Once he arrived there, he was forced to kill his own father, thus taking the corrupted Ashbringer, which still contained the soul of Alexandros. His father's voice led him to the Scarlet Monastery, where he confronted his brother Renaud, who attempted to kill Darion. Just before the final blow, the spirit of Alexandros rose up from the blade and killed Renaud, and then retreated back into the Ashbringer. Not long after, the Scourge assaulted the Lightscope Chapel, which was a very important target for them as it contained the corpses of many powerful warriors and servants of the light. For this exact reason, the humans were also very keen on defending it. Darion Mograine was here as well, and in an attempt to free his father from the blade, he impaled himself as the ultimate sacrifice that would undo the Ashbringer curse. This seemingly freed Alexandros' soul and decimated the entire Scourge army. Unfortunately, Darion damned himself as he was resurrected by Kil'Thuzad as a Death Knight. Next time we see Darion is in Wrath of the Lich King as one of the Death Knights wielding the corrupted Ashbringer. However, this time it is a bit different as Darion leads the Scourge attack on the same Lightscope Chapel that he once died defending. During this colossal battle, he had troubles controlling the legendary blade, and thus the Dead Knights were forced to surrender. Darion soon learned that the Lich King sent him knowingly into a trap just so that he can get a hold of the famous paladin Tirion Fordring. Desperate after seeing the vision of his father, Darion threw the Ashbringer to Tirion, which purified it once again and forced Arthas to retreat. Tirion now became the new Ashbringer, and this was also the moment when the Argent Crusade and the Knights of the Ebon Blade were formed.
But, my son, that day is not today. Do not forget.
With the new weapon, the Northern campaign began, which soon reached the Ice Crown itself. Tirion, together with the players, climbed to the top of the citadel and faced off Arthas. The Lich King froze Tirion while he fought and defeated us with ease, attempting to resurrect us as his own servants. At this moment, Tirion was infused with the powers of the light. He broke the ice, and with the power of the Ashbringer, he managed to break the legendary Frostmourne and thus kill Arthas. Ever since then, he remained as the sole wielder of the Ashbringer and he had returned to his old home of Heartglen as a part of the Argent Crusade campaign of cleansing the Plaguelands. Nothing has happened with the sword yet, however it was revealed that the Ashbringer will be the new artifact weapons that the paladins will be able to wield. The fate of Tirion is also unknown, but it is said that we will retrieve it from where it fell in battle at the Broken Shore, speculating the death of Tirion. On the other hand, we have recently learned more about the possible origins of the orb that Alexandros once found from the fallen warlock. There is a big theory that this orb is supposedly related to the Naru, as they have a very similar cycle, and we have learned in Worlds of Draenor that the light and the shadow are in fact related, just as Alexandros once said. We know that the Naru are beings of pure light, and we know that when they die, they turn into void gods, the exact opposite of their natural state. Kara is an example of this, as it was known as the Dark Star. However, Velen managed to cleanse it by using his own light energy, very similar to the way the Silver Hand cleansed the Dark Crystal with their own light powers. So it is highly possible that the Ashbringer has roots all the way from Draenor and possibly even other parts of the universe where the Naru originate from, and we don't really know much about that. Alright, that is all I have for this video. Now I hope you can enjoy it, and if you're interested in learning more about the Ashbringer, I would definitely recommend reading the Ashbringer comics, as they explain the story in a lot more detail and they are really well done. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already, as it really helps out and keeps all the videos going. And thanks a lot for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.